This is the second part and second episode to the Man United FC 26 career mode for the 26-27 season. In this video, we're going to work on the transfer window, finish off the transfer window, our last few signings, and get the first few games of the season through. Getting right into things, there was a few changes since last episode. I finally loaned out the players I want to loan out. Cheeto Obi, Shea Lacey, and lastly Diego Leon to Nice, to 20, and to Stoke City. Also, you might notice that there's one left winger missing, and that's because we finally sold Rashford off to Aston Villa for 35 million, because I figured out what I want to do with this Rashford situation and who I want to sign instead. We're going to go right into transfers though. Now I've shortened down the short list of who I want to sign. I know two of the players I want to sign right now before we get started and go into the season. And then one more I want to sign, and I'm going to decide before the end of deadline day. Now that first player we're going for is Sandro Tonali. I'm going to go for the most realistic price, even though I could probably bargain it down to about 50-60 million. I'm going to go for how much Newcastle want at the minimum, because Newcastle right now are being a pain in the butt with giving over Tonali to Man United. They realistically want 80 million at the minimum. I'm going to give them 80 million and they can suck it up, and yep, there we go. And Tonali to Man United is done. The big defensive midfielder that we needed and that we wanted and that Michael Carrick wanted. Now you can already see the Rashford replacement, and that's Rafael Leao. I'm going right in for him. I want him. I want to sign him. He is the guy that I'm after. Now I'm going to see if I could start at maybe around 45. I heard maybe that's around asking point. Alright, 48's a deal. And he's officially here. He's walking out. Now we only have enough in our budget to sign about one more player, so that's why I'm waiting to decide on that player. Now over to jersey numbers. There is Tonali with number 14, the number that I want him to have, and the big left winger, Rafael Leao. He is not going to wear number 20. He's actually going to wear the big, not 11, but I want to give him Ronaldo's number 7. Mason Mount can suck it up. He's going to wear number 11 for now. I also want to make a few other big number changes. First, going over to Sesko. I think it's finally time that Sesko gets awarded his number 9 after a pretty solid first season. And lastly, Lamens. He should not have to wear number 31 anymore after the season he just had last year. He deserves that number 1. And I've added all the new signings in the squad. This is the new squad after all the new signings. I think I want to keep Manu starting just because he's so good. I just don't see any reason to be really benching Manu. And I plan to rotate Cunha and Leao. I want to try to play Cunha more central or striker. Maybe rotating for Bruno, who's getting older, is going to need more rests. I'm going to start Simon. Let's get to the Aston Villa versus United game. Shaw, you're not going yet. Here we go. So, let's get into the first Premier League game of the season. And first press conference. Yeah, I hope Shaw can be a regular starter. I mean, he's going to have some competition with Hamas coming in and potentially maybe a new signing. Dallo. Yeah, I hope he could play as a fullback. He usually is. He has been a really good fullback last season, but I think defensively, certain areas he needs to work on more. And Sesko, I hope he plays well at the striker. I hope he can really prove himself as a top striker, and hopefully be able to beat players like Konza, who's a world-class center back.
Okay, guys, we've got to wrap it up now.
That's the first press conference. Now, let's get into the game. The first match of the season was against Aston Villa at Villa Park. We're also playing up against Rashford, who's on Villa now. Early on, we started okay with some good passing, but Villa were the ones who were attacking and got some great shots off, and Lamens had to make some pretty crazy saves to keep us still down 0-0. Eventually, on a counterattack, Maguire started dribbling forward, bringing it to Cunha, Cunha to Bruno, Bruno passing it back to Cunha, and Cunha put it in the top corner, give Man United the lead, 1-0, and Man United's first goal of the season. But Villa would not let off in the first half, and they kept getting closer and closer. Maguire ended up saving us here. And eventually, with all of Aston Villa's attack, they were eventually able to squeeze in the goal, get the equalizer right before halftime, which was unfortunate. Then we went into the second half, and eventually around the 60th minute I made some subs, such as Rafael, Leao, and Tonali, who's coming on for their debuts for Man United, as I was hoping they'd show me something good on the field. And they had a few good moments, but nothing amazing. They were still very fresh, and this whole new Man United atmosphere is new to them. Eventually, very late on in the last few minutes of the game, Rafael Leao was able to eventually get it to Bruno, and Bruno was just able to smash it in, making it 2-1 and sealing the game with a very messy goal. But a goal nonetheless that won us the game. The next match we played was against Brighton at home, our first game at Old Trafford, and it was pretty much the same lineup as the last game. And we started off the game this time as the better team, with again some good passing. And soon the passing turned into a goal as Manu passed it to Ederson, who smashed it from way outside the box and got his first Man United goal. Big moment and great goal. I mean, really, what a way to get your first goal, and especially at home in Old Trafford. But quickly after that, Brighton got possession, and Martinez put in a very dangerous tackle and gave away a very dumb penalty, which resulted in the Martinez yellow card. But luckily, Lamens made an amazing save to save us on the penalty. But a few minutes later, Martinez made the exact same mistake with a bad tackle in the box on a player, which resulted in a very bad second yellow card, red card, and another penalty for Brighton, which this time Brighton just couldn't miss. And they didn't miss, as Brighton made it 1-1 right before halftime. And to make things worse, Luke Shaw came out with an injury as Mizraoui was subbed on right before halftime. And we had one last big chance before halftime with a great Bruno cross to Sesko, but he put it right over the bar. Going into the second half, I didn't make any changes, but only a few minutes in, I'd quickly regret that. They were able to get the ball, and they smashed it in the top corner, making it 2-1, and now we were down at our first home game at Old Trafford, which was really, really bad. Quickly after that, I made a decision. I needed to bring on Tonali, I needed to bring on Rafael Leao, I needed to make some changes. And those changes would quickly pay off, with Tonali having a great ball over to Cunha making a run into the box, and then bringing it back to Rafael Leao, who gets his first Manchester United goal at a crucial time, making the game leveled at 2-2. And we kept trying, and we were getting close, but we just really couldn't get that final goal that we needed. Until very late on a corner where Brighton had a very bad attempt to clear the ball. It went right to Rafael Leao, who hesitated on the shot, then eventually took it, and ended up getting a chance to take a second shot due to horrible Brighton defending. And in the last few minutes of the game, he was able to seal off the win at a 3-2 win, with one of the messiest goals I've ever scored in FIFA, probably. But nonetheless, a very important goal to seal the win for us, and to create a very iconic first game at Old Trafford for Rafael Leao and for this season. It was a great first game against Brighton. A lot of drama, a lot of intensity, and now we move on to the next one. The next match was going to be a big one because we were now playing against Liverpool at Anfield, which is obviously going to be a difficult match, and the first big team we're facing. And what other team than Liverpool, our biggest rivals? One major change I made is I ended up giving Haven the big chance in defense alongside Maguire after Martinez got his red card. I also finally started Tonali and Leao, putting Cunha at striker. And quickly early on we started dominating with shots and chances, Bruno putting it over the bar. And we had a great counterattack here between Mbeumo, Cunha, Bruno, and Cunha just barely failed to put it away. And again, Bruno with a great through pass. It was another great counter, and Mbeumo just couldn't finish the goal. But that's how the first half ended, as we just dominated the first half. Going into the second half, I also obviously didn't make any changes, since the team were playing pretty good. We made sure up to this point that Liverpool haven't had a single shot on target. It's looking like we most likely are going to win this game. But of course, it wasn't that easy with Liverpool's first real shot and messy defending. They were able to get a goal in, get the lead, the very undeserved lead. So again, I made subs. I brought off Tonali, who didn't have a great game so far, and I brought on Dorgu, as I wanted to give him a big chance. And the subs ended up paying off, as Bruno ended up giving it to Dorgu after a corner. Dorgu dribbled through around Van Dijk and scored the very late equalizer against Liverpool. It was just unfortunate we couldn't seal the win, but Dorgu does go around Van Dijk, destroying Liverpool's best defender, and that's another iconic goal to remember, as the game would end at 1-1. now that we played the first 3 games of the season, and those are done and in the books, I would like to go over some things like the league table. We are 4th in the league. That's not bad. 2 wins, 1 draw. Next, we do face Southampton, as the real promoted teams ended up not actually being promoted. FIFA has its own ways. But after Luke Shaw got his injury, which he ended up rupturing his Achilles, which is worse than I thought. He's already going down in ratings, and he's gone for 5 months. It's really persuading who I want to go for and what position. The player that I'm going to sign is Newcastle's Lewis Hall. Now, I know they want around 50 million. I'm going to just straight up offer 50, knowing it's my final signing, knowing that it finishes off everything. He's a solid 82 rated left back, perfect for the future, and I'm not ready to trust Harry Amos as the full-time starter. And there we go. Lewis Hall, the Man United, the final signing, the 5th signing of the first transfer window of Michael Carrick, in the start of the Michael Carrick era. And Lewis Hall is already wearing the number that I would like to give him. I could give him Dalot's number 20, but I think number 12 fits him better, especially until whether or not I'm going to keep Dalot. I think next I'd like to go over performances. Probably played best this 3 games. I think first the shout goes to Cunha. He got the first goal of the season, and he had a solid assist in the Brighton game. Bruno, who I would say has probably been the player of the video. He got the late clutch goal, even though it was a messy goal. He got 2 assists, and I mean, just everything was going through him. He played like a 90 rated player. Dorgu getting on the score sheet against Liverpool, putting in a very clutch goal. Rafael Leao, easily second behind Bruno. He played amazing. He got his debut goal against Brighton, the comeback with 10 men, and an assist in the Villa game. Mainu, I'm pretty sure, got an assist in the Brighton game. He was okay. Ederson, great start, got his goal. Amazing moment for him. Tonali, at times he's been a little bit slow, like Liverpool. He had a few mess-ups, but he also wasn't bad against Brighton. Defensively, we've not been great. Mazraoui's been okay. Dalot's not been great. Euro's been okay. Martinez, he's probably been the worst player this episode. Horrible Brighton game. Maguire, he's been slowing down. Haven, against Liverpool, he played pretty well. I mean, saying that Liverpool only got 1 shot off all game, and he was probably the main reason for it. And there's a reason I didn't sub him out and why I subbed Euro in. Amos didn't do a lot. And Lamens, he had a penalty save. He played great. He's unfortunate not to get a clean sheet, but hopefully next episode he can get his first clean sheet of the season. And this is the new squad with Lewis Hall in. I could probably switch some things around, but I'll leave it as is for now. I'll probably put Mazraoui in. I'm right now not favoring Dalot that much. I'm not a big fan of him right now. Finished deadline day. Let's see, Simakan to Arsenal. Some interesting rumors. It's about to end deadline day. This is the schedule for next month. I'm just glaring at it real quick. Very busy month. 2 Champions League games. Carabao Cup versus Burnley. Bournemouth and Chelsea. Wow, it's going to be a crammed month. We got to try to win as many of these as possible. Continue in the Carabao Cup. Do solid in the Champions League. But thanks for watching, and bye.